flyer, and I handed it out to people, and I just knew that that was it. They'd read the flyer, they'd see me smiling, and they want to sign up. Nope. So then I thought, well, maybe I need to make a better flyer with more information on it. I got to put more details about the product, and so they really understand how it works, and maybe that'll get them to go in. And I put more colors on it, made it more, attractive. I passed out thousands of flyers. No one joined. And so then I thought, well, maybe I need better material. So I bought some magazines, and I would go down to the train depot and the bus depot where people are waiting in line to go home after the end of a long day of work. And I would go up and down the line, and I'd say, listen, do you have any interest in home-based business? Do you have any interest in home-based business? Do you have any interest in a home-based business? Do you have any interest in a home-based business? No? Any interest in home-based business? And guess what? Because there were so many lines at Port Authority in New York City and Port Authority in New Jersey, they all saw this man with magazines going up and down the line. Everybody's doing this. Right? So by the time I got to the second line, what are they all going to say? No. Third line. Fourth. I didn't care because I was desperate. I wasn't desperate to get people to sign up. I was desperate to get this thing going because I knew I was not the only person that was going to see this. But I said to myself, okay, that's not working. Flyers are not working. Going to the Port Authority in New York, that's not working. This hand-to-hand thing, I got to take it up another level. So then I thought, I heard that if you really want to cut your teeth, you got to go door to door. You got to knock on people's doors. And so I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll go door to door. So I would knock on people's doors, right? And I had just moved to this area. It's called Montclair. It's about 30 minutes outside of New York. So it's a nice neighborhood and everything, so I knock on people's doors. Hey, listen, I'm new to the area. I'm going to be having a travel welcoming party at my home. I'd love to have you. Why don't you bring you and your wife or whatever? Door to door, knocking on doors, right? And I even went to a house and a priest opened the door. And the priest told me he was coming. And he didn't show up either. Not one person showed up for my travel party, door to door. And here's what I'm thinking. And I can remember my girlfriend at the time, she was upset with me because I was doing that. She said, you're a professional speaker, you have this reputation, and you're going door to door? You can't do that. See, my ego was, I just took all that and threw it away. I didn't care about none of that. I just wanted this thing to get going. I was willing to do whatever was necessary to get this thing moving. So I kept saying to myself, I knocked on about 60 doors. And I said to myself, this is going to be a cool story one day. That's what kept me going. It's going to be a cool story. I got good material. I'm making good material right now. So eventually what happened was I was doing an event like this where I created something where I could add value. So I invited people to a room like this for free. I said, listen, I'm just going to come share some ideas with you. I love personal development, so let's talk about that. And when they would come to the room, I would have a restaurant cater the event. And I said to the restaurant, listen, if you cater the event, I'll give you marketing to this room. I'm going to fill up the room. And so you cater it for free, I'll give you marketing in return. So they would trade off on that. And because there was food involved, then they would bring a guest. So I invite you, he brings a guest. And then I have everybody fill out their name and contact information. And when they left, when the event was over, I would call them the next day and say, listen, do you keep your income options open? And anybody that said yes, I would make an appointment and show them the presentation. So there was a woman that I shared this information with. It wasn't for her, but she said to me, I got a guy that you should meet because you all are very similar. He's an entrepreneur. He loves helping people. He has a similar story to yours. I think you guys really hit it off. So she introduces me to this guy. Sure enough, we hit it off. And my first thought when I met him was, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to recruit him. So we had lunch about a week and a half later. I showed him the information, and he's very yellow, meaning he's very sensitive. He doesn't like pressure. So I just said, listen, take a look at it. If you like it, give me a call. Don't worry about it. I left it at that. 2 weeks later, he called me. He's like, I'm ready to go. And he got in, and he put in like 30 people in the next 30 days. Okay? Now, he told me up front, I'm not doing travel parties. I'm not going to any events. I don't have time for any of that. Because he's a success coach, so he spends about 15, 16 hours a day on the phone. So I said, fine, I'll work your group and all that. But here's what happened. See, he wasn't going to the events. He wasn't doing travel parties. So what were his people doing? The same thing. It didn't matter that I was working with him because I didn't personally sponsor him. So I was trying to work with them, but they just they weren't getting it, all right? So a lot of them ended up falling off, whatever, but a lot of them stuck around. So we had about 5 that stuck around out of the 30. So every week or two, he would call me and say, hey, listen, I got this, guy, do a 3-way, I do a 3-way, and we'd sign some of them up or whatever. So one guy happened to be in Brooklyn. And I'm on the 3-way, and I said, where do you live? What part of the country are you in? I live in Brooklyn. I said, great. Meet me tomorrow at 42nd Street and bring somebody with you. He said, okay. So I go to meet this guy in Brooklyn, in 42nd Street. He brings a guy named Michael Jecks. Okay? Michael Jecks, I do the presentation, I show it to him, and he's the first person that does everything that I ask him to do. He's the first person that is absolutely coachable. And Michael Jecks leads me to Francesca German. And then Michael Jecks leads me to Valerie Acosta. Valerie Acosta leads me to Julio Acosta. Julio Acosta, Valerie Acosta, Michael Jecks, Francesca, and then Victor Parrish. That was the Fab Five. That core 5 right there is what I started New York City with. And every single week, I said, listen, you all need to come to my house. We're going to do training on Saturday and bring somebody with you. I'll do a presentation in the beginning or the end. And every single week, come hell or high water, you have your behinds at my house. Do they always want to come to the trainings? No. But I told them, this is how it's going to be. And in between that Saturday and the next Saturday, we're all doing our own personal exposures. We're all out there doing one-on-ones. And we'll do two-on-ones. And then as it begins to grow, we'll start doing travel parties. And that's how we started building New York City. So fast forward, about 8 or 9 months in, we started to get some traction. And what I would do is, I would always find a way to put some of them up on the stage in front of the room. That was my whole objective, was to train them as quickly as I could so that they could be and find their authentic voice in this vehicle. You will never hear me talk about absolutes. I'll never say only press play, only do the presentation slideshow, only do travel parties, only do one-on-ones, two-on-ones. I do it all. I do a 1-minute presentation, I got a 4-minute one, I got a 5-minute one. I do whatever is necessary to get the job done. And that is what I train and that is what I teach. So now you have this group of very powerful, dynamic leaders that are literally taking over the entire East Coast. Why? Because number one, we live by this very simple creed. Stay humble, stay hungry, no ego, no excuses. Ever. Stay humble, stay hungry, no ego, no excuses. People ask me all the time, how's it that New York's growing so fast? You put in 10,000 people in the last 12 months. What the heck is going on over there? It didn't happen in the last 12 months. That foundation's been being laid for years. Because we took the time. See, there are people in this room right now, and it's as if some of you all are waiting for something. You're waiting for something. I don't know what. You're waiting for someone to come along or for something to happen, and you are the person that you're waiting on. And the reason things are not moving quickly is because you're not moving quickly. How many of you all had a guest or a prospect that you brought with you today? Raise your hand. Look around the room. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you grow your business without bringing new people into the mix? Can you? No. Who wants to grow their business? Okay, how bad do you want to grow it?